I think I just built my first app using Claude Code, and I think it might be something that people might actually want to buy. So it's an app that generates super cool looking YouTube thumbnails like this one, this one, this one, and this one. And I'm not even sure if I'd be able to sell it, but I'm pretty impressed with it so far just for my own use cases and using it for this YouTube channel. And if you're watching this video, obviously the thumbnail worked because you clicked it, so there's proof right there. You're here watching the video. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you exactly how I built this YouTube thumbnail app, how long it took me, and how much it cost me. And spoiler alert, it cost nothing. I'll also share all the fuck ups I made along the way. So hopefully if you're following along at home and you're using Claude Code, maybe you can learn something from what I'm doing here. And if you are new here, I'm Nick Wharton. I'm a 42-year-old and AI killed my blogging businesses a couple years ago. And after 2 years of hating on blogging and being pissed off at AI, I decided that I'm gonna try to use AI to build back up my blogging income or to build an entirely new business using AI. So either way, the goal is to build a business, something that can hopefully get me back to those cushy $45,000 months that felt so good while I was blogging. And if you're into this kind of stuff, like building apps and trying to figure out how to use Claude Code for your day-to-day life, then hit subscribe because I'll be sharing the entire journey with you here on YouTube. Whether I become a billionaire or I go completely broke in the process, you'll see it all here on the channel. So first of all, why did I even bother building this thing? Well, I am thinking about trying to grow this YouTube account, this long form YouTube. I've already posted a few kind of shitty shorts on this channel previously for my other business, but now that I'm doing these things different, I'm gonna do this whole pivot in my life and in my business, I figure I need good thumbnails for these long form videos. So on YouTube, your thumbnail is everything. Basically, it's the whole game. You can pour an entire week into creating the best video of your life. And if the thumbnail sucks, then nobody's gonna click it and nobody's gonna watch it. And then all that hard work is just for nothing because the video will get no views, right? And for me, the problem with trying to make thumbnails is that I'm not a designer. So for years, just trying to make one single thumbnail meant I'd be spending like an hour or two fucking around with Canva, dragging little boxes around, trying to get a bunch of different fonts in there, and then still ending up with something that's pretty much kind of mid, to be honest. All right, so this all started when I opened up YouTube and saw this video from Ahrefs. Shout out to Sam O, it was an awesome video. But basically, they created an app that did exactly what my app does. But you have to use their app and you have to pay for their expensive subscription, I'm pretty sure, if you want to use it. But I thought, sitting there watching this video, what if I can create an app that creates even better YouTube thumbnails and I don't have to pay for it because I built it myself? And so that's how I came up with the idea. So then I opened up Claude Code on my computer and I started to write what I wanted. I explained that I wanted an interface to be super modern, to have this liquid frosted glass feel to it. And I explained that I wanted to be able to just explain my video to this app, give it my title and maybe paste my YouTube description in there or my YouTube script or the video script. And then I wanted it to give me 3 variations of professional looking thumbnails. So I told Claude that I wanted to use Gemini API to create these thumbnails because from my reading and from what Claude told me, it's basically the best image model for this kind of stuff. And then I had it scan YouTube and the entire web to learn everything there was to know about the best practices for creating thumbnails and all the different styles, like the different templates that the big creators are using. They're currently working to go viral on YouTube right now. So I felt like I had to use those proven design types so that when I actually created a thumbnail, I got something back that would actually work on YouTube, like a proven thumbnail design that is proven to go viral on the platform. And that includes like the colors, the fonts, the format, and the overall look of the thumbnail, like the high contrast look that all these big creators are using. But here's where it gets really crazy. I actually trained this thing on my face so that it could create photorealistic images of me with tons of different facial expressions based on the video's vibe and feel. So I took about 20 photos of my face at all these different angles, and then I fed that into Gemini image model so that it really understand what I look like from all angles. And then I told it to add my face to every thumbnail now with different facial expressions, like I said, to match the vibe and the feel of the video. And it did it. So I had this idea. So I described the video and then I get back a finished thumbnail with my face on it, maybe with a super cool background image and catchy text, and it's basically just ready to upload. So that was what I set out to build. And the crazy thing is that it actually works. I paste my video title and my video script or the video description. I hit one button and then about 30 to 60 seconds later, it hands me back 3 completely different thumbnail concepts. And all 3 of these concepts come at the video from a different angle. So one might put a shocked look on my face right in the middle of the action, and another might lead with a big bold number, and another might just be a shot of a before and after for whatever I'm talking about. There are 18 different thumbnail strategies baked into this app, and it picks whichever ones it thinks will get the most clicks based on what the video is actually about. And like I said, this is trained on MrBeast videos, Pete McKenna's videos, like anyone with millions of followers who creates super catchy and good thumbnails. And I built this app so that after it generates the thumbnails, if I don't like where the text is sitting, I just grab it with my mouse and I can drag it around wherever I want. And if I want to change the picture itself, I literally just type it out in plain text, like something like, make the sky behind me look like it's storms rolling in, and then it just redraws the entire thumbnail. Then I just pick one of the three, I hit download, and that's the thumbnail done in under a minute. Something that used to take me hours to do. I also coded the app to even give a little write-up next to every thumbnail explaining why that one should work based on the research that it did. It tells me who it's aimed at and what's gonna make it actually stop someone from scrolling and actually click on that video. So I'm basically getting a professional thumbnail strategist looking over my shoulder on every single video for free. It also shows me a fake little YouTube feed so I can see exactly how that thumbnail is gonna look sitting next to everyone else's videos on the actual YouTube platform before I commit to it. Then I decided to build in a history feed as well, so it keeps every thumbnail that I've ever made in this little gallery, so I can just scroll back and then see what worked, pull up whatever old one I want to use again, and then maybe reuse it or move the text around, change the text, whatever. I've made a few dozen of these thumbnails so far, and I'll keep working on it to make it better, but the couple of thumbnails that you've seen on this channel so far, I think I've done 2 videos so far, they were built using this tool, and I think they look pretty sick. And I know you might be sitting there thinking like, yeah, but why would you go through all this trouble? Why not just go into ChatGPT or some image app and then ask it for a thumbnail? And I tried that, but the problem is you get kind of one generic image and you've got no real control over it. Like the text just gets slapped on there and you can't move it around. You can't change the font, you can't change the color. And the person that it puts on the thumbnail, if you're trying to make it look like you, usually does not actually look like you at all. So building my own little app meant that I could bake in all these rules that I've picked about what actually works and makes people click. I could feed it my own face from all different angles so that it got it crystal clear and looks exactly like me. And I get 3 finished options in one shot instead of fighting with ChatGPT back and forth for an hour to try to get something decent. Plus, I can make every output editable, which is huge for me. Like being able to grab the text and move it around and change the font and make the colors different, like I said, that's a game changer. So now for the part that you're probably actually still watching this video for is how did a guy with no coding experience who's 40-something years old and doesn't look like he's very techie at all build something like this in an afternoon? Well, I built it using Claude Code, which is what this channel is currently going to be about. How I'm using Claude Code to build different tools for my businesses and maybe for other people's businesses as well. And I want to be really clear with what that actually means because I didn't do a single line of code. Like I didn't type one line of code. I don't know how. So I described what I wanted in plain English and Claude Code did all of the building. The way it works is it's like I'm talking or explaining the idea to a really smart friend of mine who also happens to be a world-class app developer. So I'd say something like, I want a page where I paste in my YouTube video title and it gives me 3 thumbnails. And then it would go away for 10 or 15 minutes, write the actual real working code for that to actually happen inside the app. And I just open the app on my computer and boom, it's done. And then when I wanted something changed, I just described that change in normal words. And when something looked off, I described what looked off. And that's pretty much the whole skill, just going back and forth with Claude Code. So when I was building this thing, it was basically running on 2 brains. The first brain is Claude itself. And that acts kind of like the creative director, looking at what my video is about and then deciding on what kind of thumbnails are actually going to make someone click. And the crazy part is that the brain runs through my Claude Code subscription. So I already pay for that every month. It's $100. So that whole creative side costs me absolutely nothing. The second brain is Google Image AI, known as Gemini, and that's the bit that actually creates the images. So Gemini is where I fed the real photos of my face from a bunch of different angles so that the person in the thumbnail actually looks like me and not some stranger who vaguely resembles me or kind of creepily looks like me. And this whole thing runs like a proper app on my Mac. It even has a little desktop icon and that icon shows up in the dock and everything. And again, this is all built by a guy who 2 weeks ago knew nothing about how to create an app. But I don't want to make this sound like it was all smooth because it absolutely was not. And this channel is all about sharing the shit that's hard as well, not just the wins and the easy stuff. So there were a few moments here where I hit a wall and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to fix it. The big one was the one I was talking about earlier, the faces. So early on, I'd generate a thumbnail and the guy in it looked nothing close to me. Like maybe the same color hair, maybe a beard, but it did not look like me. And it was to the point where it just wasn't passable at all, even for people who don't know who I am. So it had the same vibe, but the totally wrong face. Or it looked kind of like me, like I said, but not quite right. And when you can't code, you can't just dive into the guts of the app and then fix those little things yourself because Claude Code built it all. So all I could do was describe the problem over and over again, back and forth with Claude Code, but then the face still didn't look like me. Like the head was too big or the eyes were too close together, and it was getting closer, but not quite there. What finally worked was training the AI on a set of photos of my face, like I said, but no shoulders and no body, like just my head, like literally close-ups of my face from every angle. Once I had that, I could properly learn what I looked like, and the thumbnail started to come back with a really passable version of me, and it just gets better with every iteration. So it's not perfect, but when it's small and it's in like that YouTube thumbnail area on the platform, it definitely looks passable and way better than any of the thumbnails that I've ever created on Canva. One, that was the face problem. Another issue that I had building this thing was the full crash of the system, or so I thought. So one morning I came down, I fired it all up, and it just would not make a single image. I was messing around with it for like an embarrassingly long period of time before I figured it out, but the reason ended up being pretty dumb. It came down to my money, to payments. So like I said before, that creative brain, the Claude Code part that dreams up the whole concept, that runs through my monthly subscription. So I already pay for that. I can never run out of that, which means that that side of the thumbnail costs me nothing extra. But the second part is Google's Gemini, the image AI that actually creates the images. And that charges me a little bit every single time I make a new thumbnail. It's like 8 cents or something. It's not a big deal. And yeah, even though it's only a few cents an image, when I'm spitting out 3 options of video, plus all the regenerations when I don't love the first batch, plus I'm trying to train this thing and get it better, that adds up faster than you expect. And I ran out of those tokens. So actually I realized that I'd only set a $2 a month limit on Gemini. So while I was testing, I just wanted to be safe and not just blow straight through the 10 bucks I put on there. So Google basically cut the image generation off until I went and raised the cap and allowed it to take more money out of the account. So $2 a month though will definitely cover all my thumbnails once this thing's fully trained. And that's still nothing for the amount of time that it saves me. But really that is all the issues that I had building this. And it only took me a couple hours back and forth with Claude Code to get a real working app. And I even designed it with this cool kind of fancy frosted glass look, and the logo looks sick, and best of all, it actually creates epic thumbnails. So for the last video, I gave it the title and the script for that video about using AI to help me build back my income. It was kind of my intro video, and it came back with 3 takes that I never would have come up with on my own. So one of them was sharp enough that it's actually the one that I ended up using, and it looks super sick. But as I'm building these apps, the one thing that I kind of keep coming back to is just how simple this is. Like, I'm 42 years old. I've got no tech experience, no tech background. And in about a half a day, I built a tool, like an app, that does a job that I used to dread. And it's doing it faster and better than I ever imagined doing it. And maybe this isn't my big billion-dollar app idea, because I'm sure like a million people have already thought of this. And I got the idea from somebody else. But it's just really cool to have a very specific thing that I needed and then be able to knock it out in like a single afternoon. So this is gonna save me, like I said, hundreds of hours over the next few years. And it took me basically no time to build and cost me next to nothing. So I wonder what this actually means for app developers. I thought about maybe selling this app, like I said, but the thing is, for how long is it that people are actually gonna wanna buy apps like this? Like, how long will it take before all the software and all apps and anything built on a computer just becomes totally commoditized? Because why would you pay $30 a month for a health app subscription or a YouTube thumbnail builder if you could just build it yourself in your basement in a weekend, and that would be customized to you and exactly how you want it, and it would have all the features that you want? I mean, maybe the entire SaaS industry is about to die, and it's not there yet, but with these tools becoming more powerful and more mainstream, I don't know how long it's gonna last. But definitely, I think that's a topic for another video. But the cool thing is that if I can build something that I'd happily pay for with no coding skills in a single day, then I'm pretty sure that for you, whoever's watching this, the only thing standing between you and building that thing that you keep wishing existed is really just sitting down and starting it and kind of learning how to use these tools. But for my little thumbnail tool, this thing is nowhere near finished. The faces still aren't always bang on, and every now and then it spits out one that I'd never actually use, but it is getting better and better, and I'm chipping away at it. And every time I use it, it seems to spit out better thumbnails. So the plan from here is to keep making this app better and better, and then maybe let a few of my buddies who have YouTube channels run their videos through it. And if it holds up and it makes good thumbnails for them, maybe I'd even turn it into something that I can sell later on down the road, but we'll see. But this thumbnail tool is really just one piece of a much bigger thing that I'm building. What I'm actually working towards is to have a full YouTube pipeline. And then I'll do a whole separate video on this later, but I'm just gonna give you the short version. What I wanna have happen is that I sit down, I record myself like this, just talking to the camera with all my mistakes and my fuck ups and everything. And then I just hand that full uncut video from my iPhone over to the editing agent that takes everything over from there. So that AI will cut out all my mistakes. It'll add in the titles and the graphics. It'll stitch the whole video together. Then it'll also upload it to YouTube. It'll write the description. It'll add the tags and the chapters and the cards, all of it. And then this thumbnail tool that I just built will kind of just get plugged straight into that pipeline. So eventually the only job that I've got left is to actually sit down and record the video. And then the rest just runs itself, like all that monotonous back-end stuff that comes with building a YouTube channel. And just so we're super clear, I'm not an AI avatar now, and I'm never gonna post videos on this channel or any of my channels as an AI avatar or have a fake version of me talking to you. So I think that all that we have left in this crazy age of AI is real human interaction. So I'm fine stripping back all these monotonous, repetitive tasks using AI, but when it comes to writing my scripts and filming, that's all gonna be me. but this video and every other video I make, it'll be my voice and my face on these videos. If you made it this far and if you like this kind of stuff and you want to keep following my journey as I try to build $1 million business using Claude Code, then hit subscribe. I'll be posting a video every single week, maybe more. And for this video, I've actually put something together for you. I've taken this whole process that I used to kind of build this YouTube thumbnail app, every single step of how I built it, and I packed it into a free guide that you can just download and follow along with. So you can see that if you can pull this off yourself. It's the first link down in the description, so go grab it and give it a shot if you want. And I'd love to hear your comments down below as well. Anyway, that's what I built this week. I'll see you on the next one.